Effective human interaction relies on various forms of communication, including verbal expression, body language, and sensory signals. In our modern, globally connected society, the significance of understanding communication units cannot be overstated, particularly given the prevalence of digital platforms. Psychological theories offer essential insight into the complexities of human interaction, whether it occurs face to face or digitally. This essay aims to investigate the fundamental principles of psychological communication theory and illustrate their applications in real world scenarios within digital communication platforms. The psychological theory of communication delves into the intricate cognitive and emotional mechanism involved in the transmission and reception of messages. These theories highlight the critical role played by perception, cognition, and emotion in shaping the dynamics of communication. One prominent framework is this field is Albert Mehrabian's communication model, which proposes that communication consists of three primary elements: verbal language, vocal tone, and non-verbal body language. Mehrabian's research indicates that nonverbal signals often carry more weight in message interpretation than verbal cues, particularly in situations where there is ambiguity or inconsistency. In a recent professional experience, I encountered a situation in a digital communication setting that perfectly illustrated the principles of psychological communication theory. During a virtual team meeting, a colleague delivered a presentation outlining a new project proposal. Despite the logical coherence and clarity of the presentation's content, their tone of voice betrayed a sense of hesitancy, and their body language exhibited signs of tension, such as frequent fidgeting and avoiding eye contact with the camera. These nonverbal signals clashed with a verbal message, leading to a sense of uncertainty among team members regarding the feasibility of the proposed project. Analysis. Applying the psychological theory of communication to this scenario underscores the significant impact of nonverbal cues on message interpretation. Despite the presenter's attempt to convey the proposal verbally with clarity, the disparity between their verbal and nonverbal expressions introduced uncertainty and doubt among the audience. This inconsistency between spoken words and nonverbal signals created a conflicting message, leaving the audience unsure about the viability and credibility of the proposed project. The hesitant tone of the presenter's voice subtly indicated hesitation and reservation, prompting the audience to question the presenter's confidence in the proposal. Additionally, the tense body marked by fidgeting and avoiding eye contact further contributed to the perception of discomfort and lack of conviction. These nonverbal cues, though subtle, carried significant weight in shaping the audience's understanding of the message, overshadowing the verbal content presented. This observation resonates with Mehrabian's communication model, which suggests that nonverbal cues often convey more meaning than verbal cues, especially when there is incongruity between the two channels. Mehrabian, 1971. In the described scenario, the conflicting verbal and nonverbal cues created a discordance that heightened the audience's sensitivity to the nonverbal signals, leading them to rely more on these cues in forming their interpretation. According to Mehrabian's model, communication comprises three elements: words, tone of voice, and body language, with nonverbal cues playing a dominant role in conveying mass emotions and attitudes. When verbal and nonverbal cues diverge, individuals tend to prioritize the latter in deciphering the underlying message. The phenomena is rooted in the primal nature of nonverbal communication, which has evolved over human history as a primary means of expressing emotions and intentions. Moreover, the consistency between verbal and nonverbal cues can undermine the credibility and persuasiveness of the message as observed in the scenario. Despite the logical coherence of the verbal content, the audience's perception of the presenter's confidence and conviction was compromised by incongruent nonverbal signals. This underscores the crucial importance of congruence in communication, where alignment between verbal and nonverbal cues is essential for building trust and credibility. Role of theory and nonverbal sensory communication. In this scenario, the psychological theory of communication plays two pivotal roles. Firstly, it offers a structured framework for comprehending the dynamics of communication, shedding light on how various components interact to construct meaning. Through theories like Mehrabian's communication model, individuals gain insight into the factors that influence the efficacy of communication, empowering them to make informed choices in their interaction. Secondly, theory serves as a roadmap for enhancing communication skills, empowering individuals to discern and utilize both verbal and non-verbal signals to amplify message clarity and influence. In the given scenario, a deeper grasp of psychological theory could have enabled the presenter to synchronize their verbal and non-verbal expressions, thus projecting confidence and credibility in their communication. Nonverbal and sensory communication hold pivotal roles in molding the impact of communication exchanges. While words convey implicit meanings, nonverbal cues furnish subtle context and emotional undertones that shape interpretation. In the digital sphere, where face-to-face interactions are restricted, nonverbal communication via tone of voice, facial expressions, and body language assumes heightened importance in conveying intentions and nurturing rapport. In summary, the psychological theory of communication furnishes invaluable insights into the cognitive and emotional mechanisms underpinning human interaction. Through an understanding of the interplay between verbal and nonverbal cues, individuals can navigate digital communication platforms adeptly, fostering clarity, trust, and meaningful connections across personal and professional domains.